Get ready to uncover the hidden gems of financial wisdom straight from the brilliant mind of Mark Cuban. In this exhilarating video, what I'm about to do is unveil the secrets behind his unparalleled success in personal finance. Mark Cuban, a man who's renowned for his financial prowess, has captivated the world with his sharp intellect and astute money management. Ever since he struck gold by selling broadcast.com to Yahoo for $5.7 billion in stock back in 1999, he has been a prominent figure in the public eye. Currently, he's the vibrant owner of the Dallas Mavericks and dominating the ABC reality series Shark Tank as one of its formidable sharks. I think he is probably everyone's top 1 or 2 favorite sharks. Now, Mark Cuban's every word commands attention. When he speaks, the world listens. In a recent revelation, he declared, "Life is half random. If I was born 5 years sooner, not during the early days of the internet, you might not know my name. And I'm going to never take it for granted." And I think that makes a lot of sense. He's a pretty humble guy for being that wealthy and that well known. CNBC and Forbes currently estimates his net worth at a mind-boggling $4.6 billion. Mark Cuban stands tall among the elite, firmly cementing his position as one of the wealthiest individuals on the planet. Now, brace yourself for the ultimate question. What are his invaluable nuggets of advice for mastering your personal finances? Get ready to dive into a world of unparalleled financial wisdom as we unravel Mark Cuban's greatest secrets to achieving financial mastery. Well, as always, before I reveal them, it's important to point out the disclosures. The information in this video is for educational purposes. This is not specific financial planning, health insurance, or investment advice. In addition, everyone's tax situation is different. You should discuss your tax situation with a qualified tax advisor before implementing any planning strategy. All right, without further ado, here are Mark Cuban's 15 best pieces of personal finance advice. Number 1. If you don't fully understand the risks of an investment you're considering, it's okay to do nothing. Cuban gave this advice on his blog titled "The Best Investment Advice You Will Ever Get." I will second that. Make sure you know the risks and prepare for the possibility of losing money. There's nothing wrong holding onto your cash until the right opportunity comes along. There's no guarantee that any investment will pay off. Number 2. The most important criteria when choosing a college is affordability. Mark tweeted this out in May of 2019. For the best bang for your buck, Cuban says to enroll in a local or community college for the first couple years of your undergraduate education, then transfer to a big name school. There isn't a lot of value from the big name schools for freshman or sophomore classes, in his opinion. For value conscious families, I would totally agree with this approach. College education and the soaring prices of it, there's gotta be better ways. And one of those ways is to change how you're doing the educational process. Think local, think community, and I think you'll get a good return on that money. Number 3, using a credit card is okay if you pay it off at the end of the month. Cuban said this to Money Magazine, and I wholeheartedly agree. The fraud protection of credit cards versus a debit card is without question. There are many people, myself included, that say that you should use a credit card when making daily purchases, if you are responsible with it, if you pay off your bill each month and you are not living beyond your means. Number 4, you're going to need at least 6 months of income. Mark told Vanity Fair, aim to have 6 months worth of income saved in a bank account. There are some different strategies as it relates to emergency funds. In fact, I created a video about emergency funds, and I'll provide a link to it in the notes below. You can check it out. Now, if you don't like your job, you get fired, or you have a medical emergency, having that emergency fund can significantly reduce your stress. Number 5, live below your means and reduce spending to build up savings. So after college, Cuban lived with 5 roommates and drove an old car, not a Tesla, not a Denali, or a big truck. Rather than spending his money on expensive things, He invested in himself and his goals. Once you build up your base of savings, it makes it much easier to invest for your future. Number 6, the best investment you can make is paying off your credit cards and paying off whatever debt you have. Mark said this to CBS Market Watch. If you have, for instance, a student loan at 7% interest, you make a 7% return on that cash. That's an immediate return and much safer than picking a stock or trying to pick real estate. I 100% agree with this statement. Paying off all consumptive debt over 3% should be a priority. It's the safest way to increase your net worth. Number 7, a good book is always a good investment. Improving yourself and your knowledge is always a good investment. Mark told Vanity Fair, if there was something that caught my eye and I thought it could give me one idea, to spend $30 to get one idea that could change and make my business better was a bargain. Number 8, when you don't know what to do nothing. He shared this on LinkedIn during a market swoon, noting that the market is where it was less than a year ago. No one freaked out that it went up too fast, so there's no reason to freak out when it goes down quickly. Far too often the urge to do something gets in the way and gets people in trouble. If your investment thesis hasn't changed, there's no need to change the investment. Number 9, avoid taking bank loans if you can. In an interview with Dave Ramsey about business startups, Mark said, if you take a credit card or a bank loan, you are no longer the boss. Your customers are no longer the bosses. Your banker is your boss. And if you hit adversity, like you probably will, the priority becomes taking care of your banker. Now, I agree with this in most cases. Sometimes you can't get around it, and borrowing money to grow the business makes sense if you're getting a return on capital. But if you borrow too early, he's exactly right. The banker becomes your boss, and everything that you do, you must keep that banker happy. Number 10, negotiate with cash. He told Vanity Fair that negotiating with cash is a far better way to get a return on your investment. And this makes sense. Cash is king. You probably have seen my short video on that. Number 11, and it's probably underrated, be a smart shopper. On Mark's blog, he wrote about how buying in bulk or taking advantage of cash discounts is a guaranteed return on your money. Saving 15% on $1,000 worth of items is a better return on your money than making 15% in a year on a $1,000 investment. You know why? Because you don't pay taxes on it. So yes, buying in bulk, using a cash discount, try to implement that into your financial planning strategies. We're up to number 12. Don't let fear be a roadblock. He shared this statement in his book, How to Win at the Sport of Business. Invest in yourself and your knowledge to help give you confidence and start small. Learn the basics. The best teacher, I believe, is life. Learn by doing, make mistakes. Be free to fail and learn from those mistakes. You'll be better for it. Number 13, be a little bit of a risk taker. In a 2017 interview with Money Magazine, Mr. Cuban talked about the importance of taking a series of calculated risks. While it's very possible to save $1 million through sacrifice, many people who achieve higher levels of financial success, they aren't afraid to invest and take calculated risks. But number 14, only do that with about 10% of your net worth. He recently said, if you're a true adventurer and you really want to throw the Hail Mary, you might take 10% and put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But if you do that, you've got to pretend you're already lost your money. He said that to Vanity Fair. An investment is only ultimately worth what someone else is willing to pay for it. So limit your large risks to 10%. And generally, I agree with this. Risk management is very important. Understanding where you get your income from, the stability of your job, and how you invest is really important. If, for instance, you have a very stable job, you can afford to take more risk with your investing. But if you take risks by owning a business or have a highly volatile sales job, you may want your investment strategy to be more conservative because you're taking risks in other areas of your life. Highly aggressive investments should be limited, in my opinion and Mark's, to less than 10% of your portfolio. All right, now we're up to the final piece of advice. Number 15, use your money to buy time. Cuban told Barbara Corcoran on her podcast, "I value my time a lot more than my next dollar." You can't buy back the time you waste, but you can use your money to better allocate your time in the future. What if when you got a raise, instead of buying that new handbag or taking a trip, what if instead you paid someone else to take something off your plate over the next year? Like say a lawn service, a home cleaning crew, or a meal prep service. What would you do with that extra time? You could spend it on this channel learning more about personal finance. Throughout this video, I've tried to uncover wisdom from Mark Cuban himself as he shared his insights on managing personal finances. Remember, it's not just about accumulating wealth. It's about adopting the right mindset around money, making smart investments, and seizing opportunities when they exist, not being fearful. Mark Cuban's success story really is inspirational, and chasing our dreams relentlessly while maintaining a prudent approach to money, it's pretty smart. It's time for each of us to take control of our financial destinies and put these invaluable lessons into action. Don't procrastinate another day. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button right there. And make sure you watch this video next to supercharge your financial life.